was never the one to write up a song for just anyone. I was always the one to find myself lost in.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bethany if you're new here, and I make motherhood and lifestyle videos here on my channel, so welcome if you're new. I've been getting actually quite a few requests to talk about the transition from having one kid to welcoming your second into your family and what that kind of looks like, what you can kind of expect. What are some tips that can help you to transition a little bit smoother than if you didn't know certain things beforehand about what this would look like for your family? Because I know for myself, you guys, the transition from 1 to 2 was hard. It was a huge adjustment for myself, and I would just want to let you guys know, like, this is a lot from my experience, but I also asked a lot of you on Instagram to let me know on some of your tips and tricks that you used when you transitioned to having 2 kids instead of just 1. It's from my own experience and also from tips from you guys as well. So that's what I'm gonna be talking about today. And yeah, let's just get started. So the first thing that I kind of did was try to prepare my oldest, my daughter Brielle, to becoming a big sister and kind of what that would look like for her. And not to pressure her into having this big expectation of, you know, being a big sister, but just making her excited for it and just kind of letting her know what to kind of expect as well, instead of not talking about it at all and just, you know, making her adjust on her own to being a big sister. I tried to prepare her as much as possible. One thing that I would talk to her about is that there was a baby in my belly, and you know, when we found out the gender, that she was having a baby brother, we would, you know, call him baby brother, and just she would rub my belly and she would feel him move. So she kind of understood that there was a baby in my belly. My daughter was about 2 years old when we got pregnant, and so she understood a little bit, but not fully until he was here. And I mean, it got better once she got a little bit older too, of what she could understand and what she couldn't. We definitely like talked a lot about baby and that there was gonna be a new baby in our family, just to prepare her for what was about to come. So one thing we actually got her to do was for her to pick out a gift that she could give to her brother when he came, so that she would feel like, okay, like she's involved in this and that she's also excited about his arrival as well. And then another thing that we did for her when Callan was born is we actually got a gift for her, kind of being like, hooray, you're a big sister, congrats Brielle, and we got her a present as well. She kind of understood that there was going to be some attention taken from her, but as a 2-year-old, she didn't fully grasp that. And so it is a hard transition for your kid and for you, and that's what I'm going to talk about next, is that there is an adjustment period where it is kind of crazy. It's kind of a chaotic transition for everybody. When you welcome someone new into your family, whether that's like a puppy or another child or, you know, another member of your family that comes and lives with you or things like that, there's always kind of this transition period of kind of coming into your new normal. And this is 100% normal and expected. It is a little bit chaotic at the beginning. And for myself, I think one thing that I found really hard was when both kids were crying at the same time. Those moments were really, really hard, and I didn't know really what to do. But now, what I usually do with that is I will see both of their needs and how they need me, and I'll go to the person or the little one first who needs me the most. Say that someone got hurt, or you know, maybe one of the babies is just tired. I'll go to the one who's hurt because that needs more attention right in the moment. That's how I kind of manage that. Don't worry, it all happens to us when we have 2 kids. Sometimes everyone needs mommy at the same time. Try to take a deep breath. It's gonna be okay. These moments will pass and they won't be forever. So within this kind of transition time, I wanna make sure that you guys realize that it's okay to ask for help. For me personally, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to be like, I need someone to come over and just take the kids for about an hour so I can sleep, or I can get some, you know, just breathing room, things that it's really hard for me, but it's super important to make sure that you as a mom are doing well so that you can be the best you can be for your kids, right? Because if mommy's not being taken care of, the kids are gonna see that. It's really important for you to ask for help, and I find having a great support system during this time is huge. And if you don't have it, like I didn't have a lot of help at the beginning, realize it's just a temporary season and you will get through it. You will. And it gets so much better with time, so much better. So once Callan was born, I really wanted Brielle to understand her role as a big sister now that baby brother was here. So things that I would get her to do to kind of, you know, not feel left out on things is I would really get her to help with Kellen. I would get her to hold Kellen and just really be involved with everything, because obviously my attention was being a lot more on Kellen at the beginning. If you guys haven't been following me for a while, you know that my son had colic, he had some neck pain, he had reflux, he had a lot, like a list of things that were not, you know, it wasn't going very well for us. It was very hard transition for us at the beginning. And so for my daughter, you know, I tried to get her to help as much as possible with Kellen, like getting me a diaper or, you know, holding him and just being involved with him. And it was hard because he cried a lot. So even for Brielle, it was a big transition for her too. And I think cutting your kids some slack during this time is huge, because they're going through a transition just like you are too. I think one helpful thing for Brielle is that we tried to keep her routine as similar as we could when the new baby came. We made sure that she understood what was gonna happen during the day. Nothing really was a surprise to her. She kind of knew what was gonna happen so that she could kind of expect things and that she could feel a little bit more secure with how things were gonna go during the day. I found this was huge for her. Kids thrive on routine, so I really made sure that she would understand what's gonna happen and how she can help, but also some exciting things that we were gonna do together. So that kind of transitions into how to spend one-on-one time with your kids when you are outnumbered. This was really a challenge for myself because I didn't have enough hands for everybody, because with just my daughter, I could tend to her needs whenever she needed them. And she was the only one I had to take care of. So with two, it was a challenge and it was a lot different. So basically what I would do with my oldest, and I would make sure that we got the one-on-one time that she needed and that we needed together. So when Kellen was napping, I'd make sure I spend quality time with Brielle, really playing with her, getting on her level, doing things that she enjoyed so that she would feel like we're spending really good quality time. It's more quality over quantity because your attention is gonna be a lot on this little one. You wanna make sure that they're not feeling super jealous, but at the same time, it's just something that happens. Even my daughter, she still struggles sometimes, and my son is almost 8 months. It's a transition and it takes time, and that's okay. Another great thing to remember during this transition is to give yourself some grace. It is a big adjustment adding another member to your family. And, you know, even for myself, I found that some of the standards I had with just my daughter, I kind of was a little more looser with when my son was welcomed into our family. You know, for me, Brielle actually watched a lot more TV than I would have liked when Kellen was first born, and that's okay. That's what we did to function during that kind of transition stage, and that's okay. You know, sometimes the dishes get left for 2 or 3 days, and that's okay. Dishes can wait. Your little ones need you. And I don't want you to ever feel guilty about, you know, this transition and how you feel like, you know, you're not enough for your kids, because at the end of the day, you're doing your best and that's what matters. And during this transition time, definitely don't feel guilty about the housework or things that aren't getting done. Make sure you do take care of yourself, that's important, and your little ones. But you know, letting things go a little bit is totally fine. The dishes can wait, and you can just soak in those little newborn snuggles and the snuggles of your other little one and just try to transition together. But at the end of the day, you definitely need to give yourself some room to transition and for yourself to get into this new normal. Realize that it's not gonna be a perfect transition, but it's not forever. And lastly, I just wanna talk briefly about some of the anxiety that I felt having a second kid to take care of and going out of the home. I definitely struggled with this when my son would just scream all day and I felt cooped up in the house, and I was like, okay, I need to get out. I have to go out with both kids and kind of rip this off like a band-aid. I had some anxiety going out of the house, 100%. And so it's totally normal to have that when you have 2 kids, especially when, you know, you think strangers gonna be looking at you, whatever. But I wanna just encourage you that when you do it after the first time, it gets easier every time you do it. And you know what? Who cares if strangers stare? If they say anything to you, just smile and keep walking. You don't need to respond to them. That's what I did. I've had numerous people tell me that my baby was crying, that I need to tend to him, and I just smile and walk away. I don't even need to respond. I was like, He's my baby. I know what's going on. You guys don't need to point it out. But at the end of the day, you do you. You know your children the best, and you're doing a great job. But if it helps, get someone to come with you when you take your kids out of the home as well. That's always an option. Make sure that you feel like you're supported if you're feeling anxious. And if you're having some really dark feelings about having a second kid, I highly encourage you to talk to somebody, your doctor, someone you trust, because postpartum depression and anxiety is a real thing, and that's something that you should really, really talk to somebody about and try to reach out and get help for, because I can tell you right now, I struggled with that and it's a really scary time. But now that we're out of it, I can look back and realize that I made it. I think you need to be really proud of yourself because you're going through a really tough transition, and you will make it, and you're gonna do the best that you can in that moment. So I really just wanted to share with you guys just kind of what I went through, because I had really no idea what to expect. And at the end of the day, take one day at a time, take one moment at a time. Those moments are precious, they're hard, but you're gonna get through this. So thank you guys again so much for watching my video. If you liked it, give it a big thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't, if you wanna see more videos like this, and we'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.
But I'm right here, it's gonna be okay. The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay.